All right, heads up everybody, this one's serious, okay? I was doing some movie theorizing, as one does, watching Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the first film in the franchise, when I realized a vital connection that everybody missed. Now, one of the most memorable moments of the film is when a troll bursts into Hogwarts and tries to attack Hermione in the girls' bathroom. But what I noticed is that the troll is wearing a very specifically recognizable vest. That vest looks very familiar. That is the same, or at least the same kind of vest that Shrek wears. Yeah, now this got me thinking, so I went back to the Shrek franchise and I looked for the clues and I found them. Now we all know that the Shrek movies have wizards and witches and magic as a part of that fantasy element, right? Specifically in Shrek 3, Shrek the Third, Shrek meets a wizard on his journey to go to a special school, a medieval school for youngsters. Now, is it too much of a stretch to believe that this school in which he searched for King Arthur in, actually became Hogwarts in the distant future? Therefore, it's safe to assume that Shrek is actually a prequel to the entirety of the Harry Potter series, and it exists in the Harry Potter lore and franchise. That school from Shrek the Third is actually a smaller, less developed Hogwarts. Merlin and the other witches from the Shrek series, perhaps, banded together to form some sort of magical society that would become the one that we see in the Harry Potter movies. The troll from the first Harry Potter film might even be one of Shrek's babies, one of the little babies you see in the Shrek movies, or more likely, a far along descendant of Shrek and one of Shrek's babies, because of course, as you see, the troll has different sort of ears and a different skin tone, but the vest remains. So one of Shrek's kids must have started a family with a subsection of that troll species, and through that family line, we get the troll from Harry Potter, who is most definitely at least a quarter or, a 16th ogre. So once I had that theory in the books pretty much 100% proven, I thought, I've seen Shrek-like traits in other popular franchises and popular movies before too. That this goes deeper. This goes to the stars. Star Wars. So as I was watching Star Wars, specifically the Return of the Jedi Jabba Palace scene, I noticed the green pig alien guards all over the place. They're called Gamorreans. So because, as we all know, Star Wars takes place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, these green pig aliens could not be descendants of Shrek's. No. They must be Shrek's ancestors. The pig nose and the horns of the Gamorreans must have evolved into more human-like and ogre-like traits as species mix throughout the galaxy and throughout the light years that it takes to get from Star Wars to Shrek's Earth. Now, Shrek traits can be found in other aliens in Jabba's palace in that scene, specifically in the special edition versions with these CGI creatures, right? Specifically the musician alien Joe Yowza. Now, as we all know, these special editions came out in 1997, like almost 20 years after Star Wars had originally released. So the question is, did George Lucas realize the connection between Star Wars and Shrek and then add these CGI elements later as a way to further solidify the connection between these two universes? I think yes. Now again, the special editions came out in 1997, which was 4 years before Shrek was released, but Shrek the book came out in 1990, meaning that Shrek's origins predate the special editions, allowing for George Lucas to have read the book, realized the connection, and then solidify that through the special editions. And if you even look at Shrek's design from the book, you can clearly see even more genetic similarities between Shrek and Star Wars aliens. I mean, it's just blatant. And then of course, Shrek's family line leads to trolls and other such beings that have integrated into the Harry Potter universe. Therefore, Harry Potter and Star Wars are the same universe connected through Shrek. It was because of this connection of worlds, this meeting of minds here, of these incredible franchises just being brought together through the power of Shrek, that I realized that there's something more going on here. There's something even deeper. So it's time to go to the board. To the board. To the board. To the board. So, with Shrek's name written out on the board, all right, let's recap what we've learned. We know that Shrek is intrinsically connected through his genealogy and his descendants to Harry Potter, right? Harry Potter starts with an H. An H. Interesting. Now we also know through his ancestors and through his past, Shrek is also intrinsically connected to the Star Wars universe as well. Star Wars starting with an S. An S. Interesting. I think what we're learning here is that Shrek isn't just a name. It's a code. Shrek is a Rosetta Stone of sorts that connects all sorts of different realms and universes together. It's a nexus point for existence in all living realities to blend and intermingle. This goes deeper. This goes even deeper. The R. Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's right, the first Indiana Jones movie. Shrek is connected to Indiana Jones. So of course I did the research and I found why. Turns out at the very end of the movie, when the Ark of the Covenant is being wheeled away and stored into that giant chamber full of all those crates and boxes of mysterious items, that Shrek's petrified remains were actually stored there as well. That's right, in the Crystal Skull, the fourth movie, it is revealed that that area is actually Hangar 51, where the government's been hiding, aliens and other sorts of artifacts, as well as the Ark of the Covenant and Shrek's dead body, his bones, his petrified remains. As you can see in this shot, when one of the crates gets bust open in the action scene, you can clearly see what is Shrek's petrified remains there waiting for the government to do something with. I mean, the American government may plan to do some sort of experiments with Shrek's remains, try to harness his raw power to form some sort of ultimate super weapon. I don't know, but it's there, and there's the connection. It was then I realized that this doesn't just apply to movies. No, this applies to video games as well, as we continue through the Shrek cipher with E. Elder Scrolls. That's right, baby. Shrek is connected to Skyrim. So how are Shrek and the Elder Scrolls universes connected? Well, it's pretty simple. With dragons. Not only does the game Skyrim heavily feature dragons as enemies that you fight throughout the game, as well as an integral part of the story, but Shrek also features a very specific dragon as well. The dragon from Shrek shares a striking resemblance to the blood dragons found in Skyrim, even up to the complexion of the skin and the redness of the lips. So these are, again, most likely ancestors of hers or brethren. So what all this means is that the continent in which the Elder Scrolls games takes place on, Tamriel, is actually incomplete on most maps. The southeast portion of the map is actually supposed to have far, far away land and the surrounding counties from the Shrek series right there, right next to Black Marsh, which is basically a giant swamp for ogres and people like Shrek to have originated from in the first place. But what really tops it off is that Shrek has actually made appearances in several Elder Scrolls games, as you can see here. It's just the picture proof that these universes are connected. I mean, just look at that. So there we have it again, proven that Shrek shares the same universe as Elder Scrolls, which also shares the same universe as Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, and Star Wars. But we can go deeper. That's right, K. Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is already a multiverse. The structure of the game revolves around traveling to different realms and different worlds from Disney franchises. So it's not much of a stretch to believe that Shrek's world must exist within that multiverse as well. And if that were the case, which I believe it very much so is, that would mean that Shrek, through Kingdom Hearts, is connected to pretty much every popular Disney franchise there is, as well as Final Fantasy. In this way, Shrek truly does connect everything. Shrek is the foundations, the building blocks of the universe itself. So this discovery of the connective tissue of the universe, which I am calling the Shrek Nexus, can be used to connect anything in the world. You can use these 5 powerful letters to connect any known event in the multiverse together by simply figuring out how they connect to Shrek. And by doing this, we might be able to solve some of history's greatest mysteries. Like, for example, wait a minute. Oh my god, it all makes sense. Oh my god, this goes deeper than any of us could have ever imagined. The K in Shrek can connect to JFK. The assassination. There was a second shooter. There was a second shooter out on the grassy knoll, and it was Shrek. It makes too much sense. It makes too much sense. Using a complex wizard spell, Shrek must have been sent forward in time to that fateful day in 1963. Through fortune-telling prophecy, Shrek must have known that the Kennedy administration would be experimenting on his remains, his petrified remains found in Hangar 51, as seen in the Indiana Jones franchise. They were trying to use Shrek's spiritual energy to power some sort of ultimate nuclear weapon to win the Cold War. So to prevent the inevitable worldly suffering caused by his own flesh, by his own ultimate power, Shrek had to take matters into his own hands and assassinate President Kennedy in order to stop the project from moving forward, thus changing history and preventing Earth from being enveloped in nuclear warfare. This is what the history books won't tell you. This is what the government is trying to hide, but no longer. Shrek killed President Kennedy to save the world from nuclear destruction. And that's why Shrek is a goddamn American hero. Wait a minute. No, I can't.